Optimus killing his own? That's just unacceptable. What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching The Road to TF5. This is Webster's. We're talking about Transformers last night. This is episode number 169. And to start off this episode, I want to bring to your attention this screenshot from one of the trailers for Transformers last night. It shows Bumblebee smacking Optimus Prime in the face with the Forge of Solace Prime. It's a pretty devastating blow. Now, Optimus Prime goes through a lot in Transformers last night. I like to call it the trials of Optimus Prime because all of the characters that he has to fight, which includes one of his most loyal soldiers, Bumblebee. He has to fight Bumblebee. He also has to face off against his arch nemesis again, Megatron. Also, he has to face a brand new threat called the Infernicons, and also he has to fight the Knights of Cybertron. And based on the trailers, that fight where he faces off against the Knights of Cybertron is a pretty big deal. He's surrounded and he looks like he doesn't stand a chance. Which brings me to this question right here, which is tweeted at me by Demetrius. Something tells me that Optimus dies after the Knights beat him up. What do you think will happen to him? Big fan, by the way. First of all, thank you, Demetrius, for tweeting me this question. It's a very good question, but I like to warn people that what I'm about to say is speculative, but it could lead to spoilers. Because what I'm about to tell you has a lot of backing towards it. And if you don't want to know a major thing like whether Optimus Prime dies or not, then you probably shouldn't watch this video, because I'm going to give you a whole bunch of evidence which leads to the high possibility that he's not going to die. He will survive. And we're going to talk about that. But before we talk about that, I would like to read you this message from Marty Gamino. Hello, I have some young fans in my family who were looking forward to TF5. However, they are now worried that Optimus Prime dies in this installment, and though they are old enough to get the movies, they're young enough for this to really bother them. Do you have any idea, Buzz, or your own opinion on Optimus Prime's fate by the movie's end? Thanks for taking time for a concerned auntie. Thank you so much, Marty, for bringing forth your concern. I would like to address that because you're absolutely right. There are some things in this movie that might upset some younger viewers, and I'm just going to give you my speculation as to why I think it's going to be okay. Of course, there's going to be a very, very high level of robot violence, but I really don't think that Optimus Prime is going to die, and I'd like to explain why. First of all, this reason right here. Michael Bay reveals plans for 14 more Transformers movies. Paramount currently has outlines for 14 more Transformers scripts which Michael Bay will produce. So that tells you right away that there are more stories to tell, and I cannot imagine all 14 of them not having Optimus Prime in them. So in order for him to be back, then he has to survive. That's my first little bit of speculation, or rather evidence, as to why he's going to survive. Here's the next little bit of evidence, or rather a theory that contributes to the possibility that he will survive. We've already seen him die in Revenge of the Fallen. That is a concept that shouldn't be repeated again. Because obviously it's very, very devastating, but in the end, he still comes back. So whether you kill him, it doesn't matter, because he comes back in the end. So even if they kill off Optimus Prime in Transformers last night, he will come back later on in the movie, stronger than before, with new upgrades. So I guess if they need a reason to give him upgrades, then sure, they're going to kill him. But in the end, he's going to come back. So it doesn't mean that by the end of the movie, he's not coming back. I'm pretty sure that Optimus Prime will end up seeing the light of day by the end of the movie. So he's not going to end up dead and then remain dead all the way to the very end, the end and conclusion of the film. That's not going to happen. At least that's what I think. Another thing is this. Optimus Prime has been through a lot. He's been near-death experiences. He's died. He's also been like situations where he's been captured, like in Age of Extinction, by Lockdown, and then in Transformers: Dark of the Moon, he got his arm ripped off in Revenge of the Fallen. He died, but then he came back again. So here's what's gonna happen in Transformers Last Night that we already know. He dies. He dies because we saw him die in the trailer. He's floating around in space aimlessly, and it's because he's probably out of energon. And he's also all grayed out, which is something that we've seen before in the 1986 film. Once Optimus Prime died in the 1986 film, he went all gray. This is the same sort of thing that's going on as he's floating in space. So Optimus didn't really die by the hands of anything. He probably just ran out of energon, and then he's floating around in space. But he gets captured, or he gets rescued, and then he gets captured by Quintessa. So it will most likely start off with Optimus Prime as sleep mode. Not actually dead, but in sleep mode, floating around in space. So let's just interpret that as being dead. Do you think that later on in the movie he's gonna die again? If anyone thinks so, then you're trying to tell me that Optimus Prime dies, gets brought back to life, and dies again? That ain't happening. Come on now. That is not happening. Optimus Prime is gonna get rescued. He's gonna get captured. He's gonna turn evil, and then he's going to get the evil smacked out of him, and then he's gonna go back to being good. That's what's gonna happen. At least that's what I think, based on all this little evidence. So that's what I believe. I think you can rest assured that something like by the end of the movie, something that's not that terrible is actually going to happen to him. He's going to get really, really beat down, though. That we know for sure. But he's not going to die. Okay? At least not in a very violent way. If he dies, it's just going to be him running out of energon because he can't make it all the way to his maker. As we already seen him floating around in space. Why do you think that happened? There's got to be a reason for that. And the only thing I can think of is because, like, trying to meet his maker was a long, long way. And everybody was saying, even after we finished watching Age of Extinction, is that how's he gonna get there? He doesn't even know where he's going. He should have taken Lockdown's ship. At least Lockdown's ship would probably have fuel. Optimus Prime can only fly for so long. So it just makes sense that, he ran out of fuel and then he's floating around in space, and then that's what happens. Anyways, so I don't know 100% for sure if that's what's going to happen, but here's what I'm going to do. After I watch the movie, I'm going to make a video. And this video will be my initial reaction for the movie. And then I'm going to make another video, which is a message to concerned parents, okay? This video will be spoilerish, of course, but it'll tell you the things that you should watch out for, things you need to know about the movie, and then you can make an informed decision whether or not to bring your kids to watch Transformers Last Night, or you should wait till they get a little older or whatnot. At the end of it all, I'll give you enough information for you to make an informed decision whether or not you want to bring your little ones. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to read you this tweet here. It's a little bit related. Kiel Mate Freeze says, "Awesome job, Alex. Keep up the good work. And do you think Optimus will end up killing any of the Autobots in this movie?" Oh, that would be absolutely terrible. That would be really, really terrible if Optimus Prime turns so evil that he actually ends up killing one of his own. That is going to be the worst thing ever. Because when you're watching it, it's going to be so heartbreaking. Because Optimus dying is one thing, but Optimus will have been killed by the hands of evil. But Optimus killing his own, that's just unacceptable. I don't think Hasbro and Paramount would actually want to do that. I don't think that's a risk that they want to take. That's actually quite upsetting. And I'm just thinking, who would he do that to? Who would he do that to, which would make such an emotional impact? I don't think that it's just I cannot fathom that idea. Okay, which makes me want to move on to the next question. That is from Juan Flores. In every TF film an Autobot dies, I'm afraid that B's time has arrived. Okay, I don't think it's going to happen to B. I just don't. B is the most lovable and most adorable character in a Transformers film, even though a lot of people don't really like Bumblebee for what he has become. But let's face it, Bumblebee and Optimus Prime are like the staple for the Transformers live action universe. They get a lot of toys, they get a lot of attention in these films, and that is because they are essentially the main characters that people recognize the most. And that's why there's so many versions of their toys, because they do sell, especially amongst kids. So fan favorite characters would be Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. They cannot kill off Bumblebee. They just can't kill off Bumblebee. If they do that, they will be doing a very, very, very big disservice to their young fans. That would be a terrible thing to do. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that there is one Autobot that is going to die, though, and that is Drift. I think it's going to happen, and he's going to die honorably at the hands of a Decepticon. That's what I think is going to happen, okay? I made an episode talking about speculating which Autobot is going to die. I always said it was going to be Drift, and I'm going to stick with that. I still think it's going to be Drift, so that's what I think is going to happen to the fate of an Autobot. And that Autobot will be Drift that dies. At least that's what I think so. But definitely not Bumblebee. That's just not right. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this episode. I really just want to shed some light on why I don't believe Optimus is going to die. It's just not something that we need to see again. It's something we've already seen. And we are going to see him floating in space. Lifeless. Which already suggests that it's kind of like death in some sort of way. You know what I'm saying? So bringing him back, killing him off again, and then bring him back, that's just too repetitive. It's just a repetitive, vicious cycle that we don't need to keep on seeing. Let's just put him in dangerous situations. Let's just do that, okay? But let's not kill him anymore. Kill him off anymore, okay? Anyways, that's all I gotta say. What do you think is gonna happen? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to see more, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. Okay, next we have a shot that zooms in on these photographs on the wall. They're also framed